This is going to be a complete guide for the strongest battlegrounds. It doesn't matter if you're a starter, intermediate player, or even one of the best. I assure you that by watching this video, you will learn something new and get better. I know all of you are incredible. You all work so hard to improve and try to get better in the TSB. And as your friend, today I'm going to give you a compilation of my past videos covering almost everything you can find about the game. So please trust me as your friend and watch this video till the end. I'll cover all of the additional techniques, in-game techs, how to learn those techs, how to improve movement, improve your adaptability, dashing skills, blocking skills, and finally I'll share my experience of doing something similar a few months back, improving drastically within just one day. Starting off, I want you to understand the basic premise of the game. That's why I'll cover how to perfectly master dashing. It took me around a week to completely grasp it, so I recommend you to put this video on full screen and follow along what I did back then. I've achieved complete mastery of dashing within just a week of practice in the strongest battlegrounds, and today you're going to surpass 95% of the player base in just 15 minutes of your time. Not only that, I will also reveal to you the genius secrets to predict your opponents, how to lower your ping by hundreds, and also give you the secret of becoming a dashing god inside the game. You'll learn all of that just in a few minutes, starting with chapter 1, complementary dashes. Getting good at dashing as a beginner is actually very simple. Remember the time when you were fighting someone and you both managed to miss every single side dash? Or do you remember when you were just casually playing duels and your opponent just walked up to you and punched you in the face? Don't let that happen again. Instead of just mindlessly side dashing, implement the C dashing to your gameplay. Here, using the side dash, your goal is to go directly behind them, and mid dash you press that attack button so that they'll be stunned. This is the reason why 90% of the players remain as noobs. They never try to improve their side dashes, which they thought were complex to do, but trust me, I experienced it all and I know how simple it is to master. Open up a VIP in the strongest battlegrounds, don't worry, it is completely free. Walk over to the weakest dummy and try to side dash behind him. Remember, this type of side dash only works when you're close to your opponent. Don't try to do it from range because they'll be able to counter dash you. Now let's assume you spent a few hours on this and now you're able to side dash behind them perfectly. Now ladies and gentlemen, I'm sad to give you this news, but you just fell into the trap of hindering yourself. You just made a big mistake that will never make your dashes effective forever. Unless if you follow the secret technique of godly dexterity. 96% of the players are only able to dash well on one side, either left or right, and there is a big problem with this. Imagine you are right now fighting a serious ranked duel with someone and you're superior to them in terms of skill, but suddenly after they lose one of their lives, now they're able to block every single one of your dashes and seems like you're the one that is just getting folded right now. You see, your opponent realized you are only good in dashing from the right side, so he purposefully positioned himself to the left side, directly shutting you down from C dashes, and he also forces you to use your weaker dashes, the left side, which gives him a chance to counter dash you. In order for you to achieve perfection in dashing, you must master dexterity. It is our ability to use both of our side dashes at equal efficiency. This is going to be the secret trick that will put you ahead of 96% of the player base, and the funny thing is that you won't even realize it. It's simple as it sounds. Just focus your attention to your weaker side dashes and practice it. Try to use more of your weaker side dashes in game and nobody will be able to shut you down and evade your dashes, unless they know the secret trick behind it. This genius tactic allows the top 100 players of the strongest battlegrounds to always win. And you know what? It only takes a few minutes to master. Chapter 2, the all-rounder. Now, it may be tough, but I want you to remember the time where you were casually just walking around and suddenly someone dashed into you and started comboing you. That, my friend, is a front dash, and this is a back dash. And I've also leveled them up to perfect mastery, and you're going to do it as well. Front dashing is very simple. Everyone, including me, started the game off just front dashing, not knowing what a side dash is, which resulted in a lot of unfortunate bullying. You see, it's not the matter of when to use it, it's the matter of why you shouldn't use it. I'll tell you the important reason why you shouldn't use front dash in a second, but just bear with me. Back dashing is by far the best thing I've learned. It has so many uses and can be the all-rounder of your playstyle. You want to catch your enemy off guard and get them into a combo? Backdash is ready for you. You want to get out of a very dangerous situation where there is a risk of you dying? No worries, because backdash has iframes and you're immortal at the start of using it. And compare it to front dashing, you're just doing a 50-50 gamble with your opponent if they don't block. Though sometimes it can have its uses, like imagine you're fighting someone of equal skill to you. Like you, they are smart and observe what you do. You on the other hand, have not used front dash once in the game. Now ask yourself this question. What do I do that would catch my opponent off guard? It doesn't require rocket science to figure it out, but if you were to suddenly front dash, it will completely catch them off guard and you can combo them afterwards. So am I telling you to stop front dashing forever? Well, simply no and yes. Don't overuse it and use it sparingly. In the future, you may face opponents like me who are god gifted with inhuman reaction time and reflexes. Instead, just use your front dashes to combo extend. You can watch this video on what character to use and search on YouTube. They are combo extenders, but ladies and gentlemen, I know the feeling of it being impossible to win against someone who has the ping advantage. I've experienced it countless times in the past week. That's why unlike the guys who just move on and cry to themselves, I adapted myself to the high ping and still lost. Yeah, very sad story. So as a close friend of yours, in the description I've listed my Discord server and in it is a ping reduction pack. Sorry mobile users, it's only for PC players. Open it up and do what I do in the video exactly and you'll reduce your ping by a few hundreds. DNS. Adapter settings. Roblox firewall. Custom servers extension. Using this, I went from near 200 ping per server I joined to now 80 ping per server. So there is evidence of it working. It took me a few days to come up with these optimizations, so please, if you haven't already, like the video for my hard work. And to make you more happy, I've left the best type of dash for last. Chapter 3. The masterpiece. Alright, try to compare front dashing and C dashing. Both have their pros and cons and have their uses. Now let me ask you a very important question. Is there anything better than it? If your answer is yes, then you're a certified genius. It is known as hook dashing. Now wait. It may sound complicated, but it's easier than both C dashing and front dashing. Here your goal is to make a upside down J shape. By doing this, you'll barely reach your enemy's hitbox and at the end, distance yourself from their attacks. Now remember what I've taught you in the first 2 chapters. If you've already forgotten, then I would recommend you watching it because you won't get good without knowing it properly. It is about side dashing while M1ing by clicking in mid dash. And from chapter 2, the importance of back dashing for distance. So for reference, you dash like this. If you hit, good job. Just walk to him and combo him. If you were to miss or get blocked, immediately backdash to some distance and you'll be safe. Now as the demon of this generation of players, I'll give you the most important information nobody has given you. It's about anticipating your opponents properly. Let's say you're fighting some guy, every time you try to combo they spam counter. So you purposefully fake attack to bait their counter. Simple, right? Now imagine the same thing, but this time you consider their playstyle and moves and observe enough to predict them. Let's say your enemy tends to hook dash a lot and then backdash. You're the one who's smart, so you block it for a split second and immediately front dash to catch them. You can consider it adapting, but in reality, it's just you predicting their next move and creating tactics out of it. Like for example, test if your enemy likes to M1 you after a failed front dash. If yes, then try to spam counter after your enemy front dashes, and trust me, it will work. If someone like me, a completely average player who has just recently joined the game, can get so good, then someone as talented as you could definitely do it as well. You should subscribe because I may make a video on perfect blocking next. I was actually very lost after mastering dashing. It was hard to believe I would need anything else to win in this game. Like actually, dashing was the main element of attack, and by mastering it, one can easily destroy his enemies flawlessly. Or so I thought, because there is something far more important than dashing. That's why I recommend you all to take notes on my next video, as it's the most important. Do you know what's the most important skill in the Strongest Battlegrounds? Is it decks, combos, dashes, or even your playstyle? Having just one superior to your opponent gives you the winning advantage. But let me tell you this, even if you master all of these, you'd never be able to beat me at my flow state or any of the top players, because they don't focus on these. The best of the best maintain their prime focus on adaptability. To illustrate, take for example you've mastered every single tech for your character. You can precisely perform all types of combos and you've got perfect dashes as well. Now let me ask you, with all of these talents, would you be able to beat someone who's blessed with the talent known as genius of adaptability? I doubt so. Here's what I would do if I were that genius. If we were fighting, I would firstly gather as much information about your fight style mid-fight, combos, techs, dashes, everything. Then I'd comprise them all in my head and create a rough estimate of all of your patterns. It may sound complicated right now, but I'll give you a 3-step framework to easily do this. Then I would use my TSB knowledge to logically create tactics that counter your playstyle. Maybe you like blocking. If then I'd just backdash cancel to catch you. If you hold M1 a lot, I can abuse counters. If counter isn't available, I can side dash while blocking and then catch you. If you're an extremely aggressive Garo user, I'd firstly figure out your dominant dashing side and purposefully position myself in an angle that forces you to use your weaker side dashes. You must think many steps ahead and manipulate opponents to break their own guards. That's what it means to be an adaptability genius. But why should you trust me? Do I even know what I'm saying, or just giving out random information like Lord Heaven's useless adaptability video? Well, a little bit about me. I'm a pro FPS games player and I've been playing them for almost 3 years. And I've studied widely on different topics and subjects, including adaptability, in my spare time. From my experience, I want to share a bit of it to you guys. Now it's time you master this framework and be reborn to never lose again. Perception. Our eyes are capable of gathering enormous amounts of information just by looking. Before I explain how to use them properly, let's firstly cover how our brain works. We have two types of thinking processes. System 1 intuitive and system 2 logical. Have you ever had that gut feeling that if you were to press counter right now, you'd get the enemy? That's what your instincts are telling you, which is system 1. It's fast and reflexive, but does not reflect a lot of logic, but rather past experiences and instincts. On the other hand, analyzing your enemy and finding details in their gameplay is system 2, which is more logical. A game like TSB takes way too much focus to even play. Using system 2 is practically a waste of time, because by the time you have gathered enough data about them, you'd be already dead. Now for your perception, next time forward, focus deeply on your enemy. Your instincts and working memory will remember this for the short term and help you plan how you could adapt to win. Ignorance of facts and slow understanding leads to delayed estimate time of adaptation. Remember, losing to someone is just losing due to lack of adaptation in that time. Adapting without information is just predicting your enemy will do exactly what you have planned. So in the start, focus on what types of techs they like to do, what combos do they attempt, Are they a risky player or try to guarantee hits? Which is their dominant dashing space? Can they predict block behind them or to the side? Can they M1 catch you? You must gather all of that information in just a span of 30 seconds or even less. This might be sounding way too complicated to even work, but I've already trained hardcore in this matter. I can say with pride that it works and will work for you as well. Now I'm going to cover some of these using gameplay so you can grasp it easier. Rewatch this section if you want to remember and memorize it faster. Step 2. Spatial Index. Now you'd be in a state where your brain is exhausting way too much energy remembering these details, so you must quickly discard the useless ones. 37% of the actual information among them are useful. Others are just false, irrelevant information. We can gather a lot of information about the enemy, but we can't find the right one. It is better to get a thin layer of information which is right, instead of lots and lots of them. Asking questions is the best way to gather these important information. Ask yourself the following questions in order, and you'll understand what I meant. Movement. Is their playstyle consistent, or they switch to passive to aggressive or aggressive to passive? What is their weaker side dash and weaker blocking zone? Combo. Is their combos and movement consistent each time? In what area are they able to beat you? Consistency. Do they make simple mistakes? Do they have any weaknesses in their playstyle? Their strategy. Are they trying to follow a certain way to play? What techniques do they keep using back to back? Are they simply reacting back, or are they playing in some way? You'll get all the necessary data there is, and you'll be able to finally start adapting to them. This section wants you to find the right information. Doing both step 1 and step 2 at the same time isn't suitable because you'll just lack focus to defend yourself and fight. An average fight lasts around a minute, and if the players are good, it may last 1.5 minutes. And this framework wants you to complete all of these steps under 20 seconds, so you must be careful and slowly but steadily increase your speed. But now I'm going to practically show you guys how this may work. Step 3. Battle IQ. In order to change, you have to be someone you're not. Adapting is equivalent to that process. Play with ordered flexibility. Ordered flexibility is a state where you are neither too aggressive or passive. You are in a position which allows you to move like water and wait for the appropriate time. It's here where you make tactics and adaptation from the enemy. You gathered information, analyzed it, and finally finalizing it to take action. This is very hard to explain but easy to show. But I'll give you some examples on how you can make tactics with information. If they're an aggressive dasher, you can consider the patterns of their dashes. At what range do they suddenly dash? And what situations are required for that to work? If their conditions are your card is lowered, you're running straight, and you are close by, then you can manipulate their conditions to make them dash and M1 you, allowing you to counter it or even block an attack back. Another example would be they make simple mistakes like missing a true down slam. Now you can simply hold M1 and catch them if they were to miss their third M1. If they love extending their combos using extenders, then you can simulate situations in your brain where it may occur and predict their movement using patterns. You must think many steps ahead with the information and calculate opportunities and positions where you are bound to win. Here's my practical gameplay that you can watch and understand it better. Now that you're an adaptability genius of your own, I couldn't have been any more proud of you. It's great cause now you'll be able to learn the next part of this video twice as fast. And yeah, it's extremely important you don't miss this part of the video or else everything might just fail. So if I were you, I would keenly focus on the screen without any distractions. Have you ever wondered why the top 100% of the players are impossible to defeat, especially landing hits on them? It's like they've got a magical aura around them giving them an advantage. But I managed to crack the code by analyzing the best of the best players, and today I'm going to reveal their secrets to you. So 6 months ago I just started playing the Strongest Battlegrounds and had poor knowledge on the game. No matter how much I practiced with the dummy, I would always lose to players players in public lobbies, and I don't know why. I searched online and there weren't any good tutorials on how I could improve my playstyle, so I almost was about to give up on this game. But then I fought a 50,000 kills player. He had godlike skills and was extremely difficult to hit. I mostly blamed it on my low skills for losing and missing side dashes, but then I realized he had far superior movement compared to me, which gave him an advantage in hitting side dashes, dodging them, and overall unpredictability. I found my solution to the problem and started imitating his playstyle to my gameplay. And shockingly enough, I started winning fights. At last, after 6 months of playing, I still value movement as the second greatest strength the player could have, right behind adaptability. So how can you master movement and reach the next level? Or can you even master it? It's not something like techs or combos where the more time you invest equals to greater results. No, movement is completely different of a topic that deserves a video on its own, and nobody in the game has created a proper one on it. So put this video in full screen and with all of your focus, master movement to never lose again. Now, what is movement? Is it your ability to play strategically to bait your opponent, or being in a state of adapting to any move? To understand it, we have to go back 4 months. Movement in this game was a complex topic for me to decode. I couldn't even understand what a lot of the pros did while watching their gameplay until I started experimenting myself. I tried different tactics which sometimes gave me a great results and other times led me to dying streaks. It was all going great. I discovered mechanics to improve my gameplay, but then I met someone that changed me forever. In my life, I didn't believe in autism and brain rot until I met this Sonic user, Alibaba 257. He would always use all of his moves on me, and once they're in cooldown, run away. I was never able to catch him when he ran away and was barely being able to block his moves. After a severe defeat, I realized movement is not a single topic. It's comprised of 3 sub-levels, being unpredictability, dashing, and defense. By mastering these topics, one could level up and reach a new stage, bringing them closer to the best there is. Now that you know of my emotional backstory of meeting a Sonic user, let's cover what we could learn from this. Imagine you're the best player there is, and your combo and techs allow you to win any fight. Life was going great for you until you met someone called the Final Wall. He was a peak of defense anyone could even imagine of reaching. Every time you try to M1 him, he would either block and counterattack or just catch your M1s using his. He was the literal definition of him. Defense is an odd subject for movement, but without great defense, you'll fall behind everyone. So how could a normal person like me with below average intelligence and knowledge about the game figure it out? Well, if you're watching this video, then it means I've already figured it out. Do you remember that person I called the Final Wall I mentioned just a second ago? We can learn a lot from him, starting with his flawless blocking. To be able to block for front dashes and any other side dash, you need great finger reflexes and reaction time. But in this channel, we like to reach a different level, a level where no one is capable of surpassing us. Instead of using my index finger for blocking, I adapted and invented a whole new keyboard grip style. Ever wondered if it would be possible for you to block without using your index finger so that you wouldn't have to constantly flick back and forward? Wouldn't that be a luxury you'd love to have? Sadly, we don't have 6 fingers, but with the Kaiser grip style, you can achieve that. What I do always is that I place my thumb on the blocking key, which is F, allowing me to give my full focus on small movements and other aspects, while my thumb is responsible for blocking only. By removing the need of flicking, I increase my blocking speed by more than 50%. And as for jumping, I use my bottom layer bone of my thumb and it works fine. But what if your enemy is using hook dashes and distancing himself always before being countered? How could you possibly deal with that, and is there even a solution? Well, we'll need to go back to our boy Final Wall for advice on this, or else we'll never be able to counter aggressive players with hook dashes. But before that, it's essential you have private server plus, so you would be able to practice with no dashing cooldowns for the next step. And if you're unable to buy it due to the monstrous price for it, do not fear, my friends. Soon I'll be hosting a private server plus giveaway. Just subscribe to my channel and like this video for now to be entered. Oh look, Final Wall has finally given me a response on countering them. The key of doing this technique is evolving your reflexes and vision on a fundamental level. Without a great amount of focus, it will only lead you to loss. I'm talking none other than M1 catching. This is where you purposefully wait for a perfect moment to let your enemy dash to you
to get M1 catch. As they are dashing to M1 you counter M1 in their direction to flawlessly catch them. A few months ago I fell victim to a M1 catcher. They were so good that they were able to catch any one of my dashes and I would always lose to them. My M1 catching weakness still remains, but I've been innovating new tactics like block dashing, where I side dash while blocking to let them M1 and then counter M1. To master M1 catching, you could ask a friend to practice with you in a private server or play real games on public lobbies. But what's the point of playing passive blocking if your enemy is too scared to attack? Do you just give up and try to land hits with your poor side dashes? There's nothing to fear, because next we are going to cover mastery of dashing and movement. For fluid movement, one must learn the basics of side dashes to a fundamental level. Instead of watching countless tutorials and gathering knowledge on dashing, go to a game and practice. This had happened to me a few months back as well. I'd just watch tutorials on dashing, get distracted and switch to another video, then hop on in game and try it out without any additional practice or work. It's your choice to remain in the bottom of the list. For you bottom listers, I've created a whole video dedicated to perfecting your dashing. I'd suggest you check that video out and implement those ideas. 99% of you won't do any of these tips and remain as a laughing stock for people who actually work hard. But before checking out my dashing perfection guide, I've stumbled across a front dashing technique to catch your enemy flawlessly. Credit goes to Tenjin for making an awesome tutorial on it. By angling your position to your enemy's shoulder level, if you were to front dash straight, it will catch them. The only way to counter this is to block to the side where it is turned and then block behind you as the person's dashing moves on. Mastering this front dash technique and watching my tutorial on perfect dashes will get you to a level you have never seen before and level up on every aspect of your movement. But what's the point of blocking and dashing if you're extremely predictable? This is the part of the video where I'll differ with you. There is no point of mastering dashes and blocking if you play like a bot. The best chess player of all time, Bobby Fischer, says this: tactics follow from superior positions. If you're playing like a bot, as predictable as one-sided half-baked NPCs, then there is no hope for you. That's why I'm the only person who can fix this issue for you. Have you ever wondered why UFC fighters are constantly moving side to side instead of straight to the enemy? Because if you're constantly running forward, sooner or later you'll reach their range of being attacked. That's why instead of going straight in, they move side to side, strafing to get closer. Once they're in their attacking range, they attack and they move back afterwards. If you were to tell me this 6 months ago while I started playing TSP and suggest me to strafe around, I'd firstly ask you how you know me and secondly tell you to get lost. So how do you strafe? Strafing means going side to side to be unpredictable. Tenjin, again the goat of TSP, made a great guide on strafing. Mainly you change your camera angle and move in one direction, then abruptly switch to the other side, following a rhythm and strategically playing fluid to make your enemy miss more of their dashes. I've already provided crystal clear gameplay of how it may look, so watch it with all of your focus. Unpredictability is not just limited to strafing side to side. You mustn't do it often because then it will be easier for your enemy to catch you. But is there any way for your enemy to lose focus of you and keep them in a grip of constant fear? Well, of course. Constantly jumping. By jumping and performing a side dash, it will make you way more unpredictable, giving your enemy less time for defense. And also by constantly jumping, it keeps your enemy on edge 24/7 because they would never be able to know when you may attack. Tenjin has already covered how strafing may look like, but I just wouldn't allow myself to steal his idea. So I improvised and invented a new style of my own. This style of strafing makes you extremely unpredictable. When I'm out of their side dash range, I would flick my camera left and right to a 90 degrees angles so that they wouldn't be able to figure out where I may attack from, left or right. Once I'm near, I could perform one of my attacks. It looks extremely goofy on your enemy's POV, but also doesn't give them a chance to think what you may do next. You must think many steps ahead and anticipate moves, or else you'll remain the same. Now that you have mastered movement, I want to tell you all something. Honestly speaking, I started a while ago and back then I had nobody to get any advice from. It was just YouTubers telling me to learn techs or combos to get good instead of giving me any other advice to improve as a player, not as a fighter. Like only those two matter in the game and nothing else according to them. That's why for the next segment I want you guys to follow the advice I provide in this video, as it covers what I wished I had known before I tried to play the game seriously.
You're trying your best to improve in the strongest battleground. You've searched all around YouTube for techniques, but everyone just told you the same thing. Master decks, practice combos, and you'll get good eventually. But while researching on this topic, you stumbled across the #1 Asian player of the strongest battlegrounds. Not only were you fascinated by his playstyle, but also astonished from how he plays. The main weapon of the #1 Asian player, Ray, was not his ability to do techs, nor was his ability to do 100% combos, but rather to perform backdash cancel consistently. It clearly contradicts what you have seen on YouTube and what you have been told. So what makes Ray special? Now, I'm not claiming backdash cancel is some secret technique nobody knows about. It's actually the polar opposite. A lot of people know about backdash cancel, but they don't know how to do it properly. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you a technique that only the top players know. This makes you backdash cancel with 100% accuracy, and I'm saying this with experience, not product claims. So why should you even trust me? I'm just some random YouTuber uploading videos and making claims. Well, for that reason, for you to believe me, put this video in full screen and watch me use backdash cancel to wipe my enemies from existence. Afterwards, I'll explain to you how I perform it with 100% accuracy. Now ladies and gentlemen, I believe I've gained your trust on this matter for now. So let's compare why my method is superior to the normal backdash cancel. Firstly, let's speak on how to actually backdash cancel. To simply phrase it, you move backwards, then press any of the moves you want. But after you press the move, you must immediately press the dash button, making you side dash, which converts to a backdash because you were moving backwards. The backdash cancel and turns into a backdash cancel, where the move is done halfway after the backdash is performed. And yes, it is possible for mobile users. You just have to do it faster. But for computer users, you have to manually adjust your fingers each time. Let's say you're right-handed. Now to backdash cancel, your middle finger must hold S. Then you have to move your whole hand near the numberings. Your pinky is used to dash and ring finger does a move. Simple, right? Yet now, this traditional method for doing backdash cancel is completely wrong. It's inefficient and doesn't work always. That's why while I was learning backdash cancel, I tried to challenge this method by creating my own style. And now I'll bestow you my knowledge on this matter. Probably many top players also use similar methods to me, but I found this trick to be the most efficient for moves. When you're backdash cancelling, your pinky and ring finger have to coordinate properly. Even if one of them is slower for a split second, it won't work. That's why I remembered the hassle of moving my pinky finger in the first place. When I backdash, instead of moving my whole hand, I position my ring finger straight onto 1 and Q, while it being completely flat. Afterwards, I press them simultaneously and it somehow works. It might be a bit hard to understand, that's why I recommend you try it yourself. For the second move, it's the same process. I just have to bend it a bit to the left so I can reach the second move. It won't work for the third or fourth move because they're far away. So for only the first two moves, I use this method to get 100% accuracy on them. Unfortunately, there are no other ways to do the third or fourth move using this tactic. So for the third move, you have to position your index finger on 3 and ring finger on Q. That's the only way to do it. Same goes for the fourth move, you just have to practice for the third and fourth move. But for the first and second ones, using my tactic, you can master backdash cancel twice as fast. A common mistake I used to make is that I tried to never make my fingers fully flat onto the keyboard, resulting in inconsistency. So make sure your fingers are positioned fairly flat onto the keyboard. And that's my secret technique of having 100% accuracy with the first and second move for backdash cancel. Now it's important you make a decision right now. What character should you truly use to improve as fast as possible? Is it going to be Saitama or Garo? Atomic is a bit more intermediate pick, so as a suggestion, I want you to pick from these two. Remember, by choosing one from the other, you will underdevelop some skills that you may not realize yet. So as a basic simple rule of thumb, I suggest you to watch the next part as I cover which one is the best suited for you, Saitama or Garo. The strongest hero of all time, Saitama versus the God's chosen hero hunter, Garo. Which one is truly the best character of all time? They have had their rivalry since the release. They are matched in equal power levels and require high skills to be even performed, each being balanced and maintained by updates. But I would like to defer you a question. Which one is truly better? Even with differences, there has to be one that is better than the other. Is it Saitama that will become the strongest of the present time? Or is it Garo, the hero hunter? The Strongest Battlegrounds is, in the initial release, was named Saitama Battlegrounds, and as you may know, it released with Saitama, the first character to be added. Saitama is widely used in the PvP community and no other character could possibly rival it, with some rare occurrences of it being Garo. Saitama was always known for its physical stats that give it a huge lead in PvP. Let's firstly go over it. Currently, Saitama has been nerfed several times throughout the years, and with the recent addition of new character Suryu, it has lost its position of having the fastest M1. Saitama currently has the second fastest M1, and if you didn't know, M1 speeds are essential for getting a person into a combo. Having slower M1s means you're not able to hook dash or do any other complex dashes with profound efficiency. But Saitama doesn't have to deal with any of that. It also gives him a huge advantage in winning M1 trades with other characters that have slower M1s. Now let's speak of his weapons and abilities. Saitama has 4 different moves and each one does something unique except for one, shove. It may sound simplistic and boring, but it's the heart of Saitama users. You can use it offensively and defensively at the same time. It's a block breaker and can easily break block to start combos, as well as using it to extend your combos. Using a shove extender, you can make a combo that deals up to 70% HP of your opponent without them being able to escape it. Saitama also has the single most damaging non-ultimate move, being normal punch. It also has different extremely easy extenders that can be abused. All of his moves are simplistic, like they're for a starter player, but once mastered, become unbeatable. Its side dashes are also slightly faster than most characters, meaning you can catch other people off guard easier. Saitama also has the most amounts of text in the game, making it more versatile and adaptable than other characters as a whole. Like I previously mentioned, these texts allow Saitama to get a 70% inescapable combo, the second highest, losing only to Atomic Samurai 75%. So you may understand now how much of a great character Saitama truly is. Even as a simplistic character, it can shred other characters, but can it be Garo in terms of skills and weapons? Garo was the second character to be added to the game. It was always known as the second best character in the game. But is it actually true? Garo doesn't have as fast M1s as Saitama and isn't as simple as him either. It's a more complex, in-depth character that requires tremendous practice to be mastered. One of the key aspects of it is its flashy, satisfying combos. Physically speaking, Garo has faster dashes and M1s from other characters but lags behind Suryu and Saitama. It also doesn't have all normal moves. It has a counter that lasts for a split second and then just makes it look like you're pointing a middle finger to someone. Now for his abilities and weapons, Garo has 4 different moves. First being Flowing Water that does slightly more damage than lethal, and next being lethal. Lastly, we have the Heart of Garo users, Hunter's Grasp, and the middle finger counter. Hunter's Grasp works similar to Shove of Saitama, but is worse because you can't block break or extend combos after it. But you can 100% of the time extend combos like Shove if you learn this one tech, the True Down Slam. By performing a True Down Slam and Flowing Water afterwards, you deal 55% of your enemy's health. A little less than Saitama, but it's inescapable. Garo is an extremely complex character and it has complex techs and combos as well. You can watch my Garo text video on my channel and understand why I said that. Performing a one-shot combo with Garo while the enemy has ragdoll cancel is just a deadly fantasy. But there is an advantage as well. Because Garo has so many techs, you can literally adapt to any moves of your enemy throws. The moves are all also extendable, and also unlike Saitama, Garo has a counter which can be used as defense against true combos that can only be stopped by counters. There are limitless possibilities for combos and being unpredictable, but it will take you countless hours to master them. Now, which one is truly the best character? From this we know each character's strengths and weaknesses, so we would be able to assume how it could play out. Coming from physical attributes, Saitama bodies Garo. It has superior M1s and speed for dashes. To an extent, with low ping, they seem invisible. The speed of the character is carrying in this section, but Garo comes in clutch and text. There are instant extenders and limitless possibilities to be unpredictable. Garo's unpredictability allows it to play mind games with his opponents. They are going to be in constant fear of getting extended or baited off their ragdoll cancel. Saitama, on the other hand, guarantees damage but lacks unpredictability. His techs are obvious and you are able to easily predict what a Saitama user may do next. But that can't be said for each character's 4th move. Praise Peril, the middle finger move, and actual uppercut from Saitama are similar to one to some extent. Praise Peril once hit allows you to extend off it by using a Hunter's Grasp, forcing the enemy to psychologically spam ragdoll cancel to not get comboed again. Meanwhile, the Saitama's uppercut, you're literally forcing them to cancel out or get hit with a 90% combo. It becomes a matter of dead or alive if they don't ragdoll cancel from uppercut, but both of it can be easily punishable. But the true uppercut extender cannot be punished if you don't ragdoll cancel out of it. You can learn more about it in my Saitama tech video. Saitama lacks unpredictability due to the simplicity of his kit. As other characters get buffed or added, Saitama has been somewhat nerfed, like losing his top spot in M1 speed. His combo extenders and techs, while powerful, are fairly predictable to experienced players. but it's easier to pick up and master compared to Garo. Meanwhile, Garo has far more complex and higher skill ceiling, making it a rewarding for players who invest time in mastering him. His counter move gives him an edge in dealing with true combos, allowing him to counter aggressive players like Saitama. Garo can adapt to a variety of situations with techs that enable fluid movement and unique combo extenders, true down slam, front dash extension, loop dash, but it requires a significant time investment to master. It also has slower M1 speed compared to Saitama, making him more vulnerable in quick trades. While his combos are powerful, they require precise timing and execution, leaving more room for error than Saitama's simpler character. Saitama is more beginner friendly with devastating power and consistency, making him more reliable choice in most scenarios. His speed and raw damage output allow for straightforward damage combos that can overwhelm the opponents. However, Garo is a character for players who thrive on unpredictability and mind games. His flexibility and ability to adapt in combat through techs make him more versatile at higher levels of play, even though he requires far more skill and practice to wield effectively. In a battle between the two, it often boils down to the player's ability to master their chosen character. Saitama's consistent high damage output can dominate lower skilled opponents, but Garo's mind games and unpredictable playstyle may outsmart and overcome even the most seasoned Saitama players. So who's truly better? If you favor simplicity and reliable brute strength, Saitama is your go-to. If you prefer a higher skill ceiling with potential to outthink your opponents, Garo is your choice. If I had to choose one, Saitama would be better. His consistent power, easier mastery and high damage make him more reliable character overall, especially in competitive play where guaranteed damage and speed often outweigh the unpredictability that Garo offers. While Garo has a higher skill ceiling, Saitama's simplicity and raw power provide a clear advantage. Now that is covered, I would like to get your attention again. As I have gone through all of those steps myself, it's time you cover the fundamental aspects called techs. Techs are extremely time consuming, taking several hours of your life. I made the mistake of blindly practicing in the past and it has cost me a great deal of time. That's why I want you to watch the next segment as it covers how to efficiently learn any tech flawlessly. Techs are one of the most fundamental aspects of any character, and you know what? They're actually pretty difficult to master. Because of that, recently I released a full 30 minutes long guide covering all of the useful techs for every character. I go step by step while showing all of the techs using my gameplay. Now, even after all that, I still get countless comments of people asking me how I managed to master all of them. They also face many difficulties performing and mastering these techs. That's why today I'm going to reveal you a 3-step framework that helps you master any tech in just 30 minutes. Also, before that, I recently opened a community hub for all of you. Here in this server, I will share my strategies and tactics I've made from my countless hours of gameplay. You can also find friends and 1v1 other players to improve your skill as fast as possible. Not only that, I'm working towards adding a planning system to the hub as well. So if you want to get good in the game faster than anyone, join the Discord server in the description. Now, how do you master any tech? Because like you, I also started as a complete beginner without any help. So more than anyone, I know the feeling of trying countless times just to fail. And if you didn't know, it took me 2 weeks to even do 5 true down slams in a row because of how bad my methods of practice were back then. But this framework changes everything. And guys, we are really close friends, right? Like almost brothers. Now, as your friend, I'm going to share you my secret tactic of mastering techs. Starting out, you'll need a reference video, some sort of gameplay of the tech you want to do. For that, I created the perfect text tutorial. Just pick any tech you like from here and follow along this video. It can be for any character. The framework is the same and you just have to do exactly as I say. Recently, as you may know, I got into a habit of writing fantasy novels, so my skills in the gameplay are pretty rusty because of that. Now I'm nowadays inconsistent in performing different types of techs, especially the header's Hunter's Grasp, where the Hunter's Grasp is performed using an uppercut instead of the true down slam. So as an example, I'll show you how to perform it. Now let's firstly watch how to do it in the video. Uppercut, Hunter's Grasp. Basically, this is a more advanced variation of the normal Hunter's Grasp. Mainly, you firstly do 3 M1s into an uppercut, but also jump on top of your enemy's head to land the perfect Hunter's Grasp. This is going to be a tricky tech, so try to rewatch this tech a few times to get the hang of it. Mainly, it's about the timing again, but with practice, this will become second nature. Watch out for the mistake of doing it too early. Wait till your opponent is ragdolled and take your time. Simple, isn't it? I made it look so easy. Your brain might even say that it looks easy, but your skills will say otherwise, trust me. Now going back into the game, let's try it ourselves. Well, at least I tried. Now let's just keep on trying. Now for hours upon hours and until we hit it a few times. And then completely waste our whole time. Because this method is bad. Working hard is a good trait for anyone, but working smart is way more beneficial. So let's take a smarter route that is way more efficient in practice. Install any recording software. If you're on mobile, don't worry, just use a screen recorder. Afterwards, I want you to start recording there. I'm currently using a software called OBS. You can use a different clipping software like Medal or Nvidia. It doesn't really matter. Set it up and make sure your clips are in somewhat good quality in FPS. Afterwards, start recording. Watch the clip from the video you chose 3 times. Stare at it and just visualize you being there and doing the tech itself. Close your eyes and imagine yourself performing the same thing. It might be a bit tough, so feel free to imagine my character. Just imagine yourself doing those controls on your hand, keyboard or mobile. Then try to do the tech 5 times in game. It doesn't matter if you did it perfectly or very badly, just do it 5 times non-stop. Afterwards, stop and go to your recording software and stop recording. Watch the video you saved and place it side by side of the gameplay. Compare how the person on the YouTube video is doing it, which is me, and how you are doing it. Analyze what they're doing and what you aren't. What makes their technique work and what makes yours don't. The first step of this framework is called copying. But as you may know, you can only copy 99% of anything that is perfect by countless hours upon hours of practice. But that's not our goal. Our goal is to adapt and evolve. So the next step is to compare. Compare yourself to my text video clip and then analyze it. This is called self-analysis on mistakes. We are directly side by side comparing our gameplay to the person we are trying to copy. After that, we find mistakes that is stopping us from learning. This way, you can more vividly analyze what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. Practicing countless times only gives you a vague misunderstanding of the concept, which can take days upon days or even weeks like me. That's why that practice method is inefficient. Let's analyze my clip for now. It's pretty evident that in the clip I'm doing it very fast, but in the actual gameplay I'm hesitant by waiting and then performing the tech. Now if I were to increase my speed and try the same step, let's see what happens. Now for the final step, try to blindly perform it for a few tries. If you fail 1/3 of the times, repeat from the start by watching their gameplay, then recording your own for comparison. After that, keep on trying and repeating because that is the only way you'll be able to master text in just 30 minutes. One repetition of this framework takes like 5 minutes. So if you were to do it consistently for 5 times, that's only 25 minutes and you'll be able to master the tech easily. Like right now, I know I already have the muscle memory. They were just a bit rusty. So by just practicing it using my methodical framework, I was able to perform it almost perfectly now. I named this framework VCR. Visualize, compare, repeat. That's literally it. You just have to follow along this video of mine each time you fail until you master it. That's how I was able to master 10 different techs in my videos under just 1 hour perfectly. Now I would like to share 2 of my most favorite techs in the game. They are called Skyflow and Backdash Cancel. They are extremely useful and I believe you can implement the last steps mentioned to master them both within just an hour. Even if you know how to do them, try watching the video because you may just learn a secret technique that will help you do them better. And remember, I'm rooting for you. I always am. So while you practice the next time around, remember that I'm with you. You play the strongest battlegrounds daily and wish to get better fast. You know you're getting good, but at this rate you'll be left out. There has to be a way. You knew there were several secret techniques that the top players used to always win, but you can't seem to figure it out no matter how much you try every day. Which brings you to your last hope. Me. Now, I'm not some ranked sweat that plays the game religiously just to get good daily, but still, it won't hurt to be just a bit better than everyone else. That's why after mastering techs and gathering knowledge for every character, I'm now bound to discover secret techniques used by pro players to always win. Which brings us to our first secret technique that top players hide from you. The sky flow technique. It has only been a few hours since I've discovered it, and I must say so myself. If I were one of the top players, I would keep it a secret as well because of how overpowered it is. But before that, let me show you how it performs in actual fights, because then you'd be able to actually trust me on this matter. You'll be shocked how useful it is in tight situations and how infallible it is in value. That's why every player should master this technique if they want to get good in the game. So how do you do the sky flow technique? I'll explain that in a hot second, but firstly let's go over its benefits. Not only does it look cool, it protects you and saves you. How so? Well, by jumping and doing an M1, you get out of your enemy's square dashing zone, increasing your odds of making them miss by messing up their M1 click. The normal M1 catch is easy to predict. Once you see your enemy do it, you could just patiently wait out for their next M1 or do a feint that forces them to do a M1. Afterwards, you can just side dash and M1 them into a combo, giving them a 0% chance to counter back if you're fast enough. Same can't be said for the sky flow technique. By doing M1s in the air, you increase your range of M1s vertically, giving you a bigger hitbox. But now, for the most important benefit of the sky flow technique, it's unpredictable. If you're in a stressful situation where both sides are experienced and are constantly jumping, then your enemy has a next to no chance of predicting you'll suddenly M1 in the air, and it will be the reason why they'll have to play by reflexes and reaction time if they want to counter attack you after M1. The only counter to the sky flow technique is a strategic trap mid-game. By purposefully showcasing vulnerability by your enemy and forcing your opponent to M1 mid-air, you can calculate the perfect time to side dash and catch them. But I don't think teenagers are capable of calculating such plans in a kid's game while being stressed out when they might just do the sky flow and catch you. You're also more unpredictable by doing the M1s mid-air. If you're an experienced M1 catcher, you'd know. When you M1 catch someone, you're forced to stand there for a split second. You have to purposefully stop jumping, making it obvious that you're about to attack an M1 catch. That's where the sky flow technique carries. When you're constantly jump, you can do a M1 anytime. Overall, it's better than the normal M1 catch in every field, and it is possible by every single character in the game. So how do you do it? You just have to press M1 before jumping. It's that simple yet powerful. It is extremely tough for low ping users, but players who play on a constant 90 to 100 are going to get really good because it's immensely easier for them due to the extra delay. And in situations where you're close to your enemy, or if you're trying to catch their side dash, always try to use a sky flow technique because it has the highest probability of giving you the win. Thank me later because I just saved you several hours of deaths with just this small video. Now that you know the secret, you're trying your best to improve in the strongest battleground. You've searched all around YouTube for techniques, but everyone just told you the same thing. Master decks, practice combos, and you'll get good eventually. But while researching on this topic, you stumbled across the #1 Asian player of the strongest battlegrounds. Not only were you fascinated by his playstyle, but also astonished from how he plays. The main weapon of the #1 Asian player, Ray, was not his ability to do techs, nor was his ability to do 100% combos, but rather to perform backdash cancel consistently. It clearly contradicts what you have seen on YouTube and what you have been told. So what makes Ray special? Now, I'm not claiming backdash cancel is some secret technique nobody knows about. It's actually the polar opposite. A lot of people know about backdash cancel, but they don't know how to do it properly. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you a technique that only the top players know. This makes you backdash cancel with 100% accuracy, and I'm saying this with experience, not fraud or claims. So why should you even trust me? I'm just some random YouTuber uploading videos and making claims. Well, for that reason, for you to believe me, put this video in full screen and watch me use backdash cancel to wipe my enemies from existence. Afterwards, I'll explain to you how I perform it with 100% accuracy. Now ladies and gentlemen, I believe I've gained your trust on this matter for now. So let's compare why my method is superior to the normal backdash cancel. Firstly, let's speak on how to actually backdash cancel. To simply phrase it, you move backwards, then press any of the moves you want. But after you press the move, you must immediately press the dash button, making you side dash, which converts to a backdash because you are moving backwards. The backdash cancel and turns into a backdash cancel, where the move is done halfway after the backdash is performed. And yes, it is possible for mobile users. You just have to do it faster. But for computer users, you have to manually adjust your fingers each time. Let's say you're right-handed. Now to backdash cancel, your middle finger must hold S. Then you have to move your whole hand near the numberings. Your pinky is used to dash and ring finger does a move. Simple, right? Yet now, this traditional method for doing backdash cancel is completely wrong. It's inefficient and doesn't work always. That's why while I was learning backdash cancel, I tried to challenge this method by creating my own style. And now I'll bestow you my knowledge on this matter. Probably many top players also use similar methods to me, but I found this trick to be the most efficient for moves. When you're backdash cancelling, your pinky and ring finger have to coordinate properly. Even if one of them is slower for a split second, it won't work. That's why I remembered the hassle of moving my pinky finger in the first place. When I backdash, instead of moving my whole hand, I position my ring finger straight onto one in Q, while it being completely flat. Afterwards, I press them simultaneously and it somehow works. It might be a bit hard to understand, that's why I recommend you try it yourself. For the second move, it's the same process. I just have to bend it a bit to the left so I can reach the second move. It won't work for the third or fourth move because they're far away. So for only the first two moves, I use this method to get 100% accuracy on them. Unfortunately, there are no other ways to do the third or fourth move using this tactic. So for the third move, you have to position your index finger on 3 and ring finger on Q. That's the only way to do it. Same goes for the fourth move. You just have to practice for the third and fourth move. But for the first and second ones, using my tactic, you can master backdash cancel twice as fast. A common mistake I used to make is that I tried to never make my fingers fully flat onto the keyboard, resulting in inconsistency. So make sure your fingers are positioned fairly flat onto the keyboard. And that's my secret technique of having 100% accuracy with the first and second move for backdash cancelling. Lastly, I want to share my experience with you all. Back then, 7 months ago, I tried to get good alone, implementing certain tactics that could still be useful today. And you can benefit by watching it and implementing it yourself. Try watching my experience, as it may motivate you to start yourself and reach the playing field I play at today. Imagine your skill leveling up so fast that you become so good that you make the current best players look like child's play. Well, I want that for you and for myself. So I challenge myself to discover what makes these players so good that they are just mesmerizing to watch. And I also figured out the genius strategies which can be used to reach their level in just 24 hours. It all started with just a normal day of life. I was scrolling through comments, reading what you guys had to say about me, and then I saw this message. Bro, you not good. You actually horrible. You're not him, Mr. Voice Crack. Reading this message heavily traumatized me, and sadly I don't think I would ever be able to recover from this trauma ever in my life. But this got me a bit curious on who truly is the best player in the game and why are they called the best. I had to know what separated an amateur player like me from the best player in the game, and unlike them spending countless months and weeks training to become good, I'll try to become better than them in just one day, or you could say 24 hours. So I started digging on who the best player was in the game, and some sources on YouTube videos led me to this channel called Materia. He is apparently some god level threat that everyone on the Strongest Battleground dreams of reaching one day. And while digging a bit more about him, I came across a very interesting video which I initially didn't want to watch because it wasn't relevant for my research. How is this former number 1 actually a fraud? I guess you probably know what happened next. After watching that video, I truly felt like I got physically dumber and I needed holy water to cure my life-threatening sickness. But thankfully I was still alive barely. And no, I didn't just become stupider. I also learned the valuable and secret on how Materia got so good inside the game and became the number 1 player. Just look at that for yourself. Materia himself
told us why he wants to become number 1.
I want to be top 1 because I think I deserve top Q. I didn't sleep just to play SBG Strongest Battlegrounds. My powers and all the energy I had were wanted on this game. No, wanted on that game. Guys, I'm number 1. Materia, I don't know how, but reading your message awoke the Indian side of me that I never knew existed. No wonders you're number 1. You sacrificed touching grass and sleeping for a Roblox anime fighting game rank. Even if I enslave myself to do exactly what you did, I don't think I'll ever reach your level. Speaking of that, how will I become number 1? So I'll just spend the next 24 hours of my life reaching his level in terms of skill. I think that's more reasonable than basically ruining my health for a Roblox game rank. Yeah, funny Lego game. And the process I'm going to use to get there lies in this quote. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not to fear the results of 100 battles. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Before I even start knowing my very ridiculously hardworking enemies, I should probably start to know myself first. I can grab some guy midair. I can stomp on their head sometimes. Oh yeah, I can jump and also run. Oh, other than that, I'm a complete noob inside the game. But I mustn't lose my faith. I've recently came to the realization that my hidden talent is actually my ability to adapt. So basically, adaptability gives me a competitive advantage against my enemy. And no, I'm not one of those cringe players that dress up as Mahoraga or whatever that SCP is called and go around the server claiming I'm the best adaptable, best player. Sadly, my adaptability philosophy and the one that everyone acts upon is completely different for a reason. Before I tell you the reason, I think it's necessary to also know if I have average intelligence or I'm mentally disabled and autistic. It's good to know things like that before I waste my time on a Roblox anime game. So I took a short IQ test. And the results were quite surprising, I must say so myself. So this website is basically claiming that I'm smarter than most of the people that play Roblox these days. That's good to know. Now that we got a basic understanding, it's time we actually figure out together what needs to be done to reach the top 1 spot. Let's be real, the players I'm comparing myself to have countless hours of grinding a Roblox game almost religiously. They may not pray once a day, but they will get that sweet Strongest Battlegrounds skill tree. Okay, I'll stop being unfunny. To take it a bit more seriously, I'll need to do something that will help me reach their level in just one day. That's where my adaptability comes in. From what we know so far, I can stomp on someone's head and grab them midair, which are kind of efficient, but in order to reach the top 1% without practicing for months, I'll need to adapt to every good player I see. For this, I'll be watching YouTube videos and analyzing what they are doing right and what I'm doing wrong. Now, I'll be dividing my skills into 3 sectors. So we will have a better and more organized goal to aim for. Firstly, being the combo, which I'll further divide into more sub-goals. Next is movement, and finally is methodical calculations, which is going to be a very complex category to crack. But before I speak more of it, I believe it's time we start the 24 hours clock. Now that the timer has started, I'll firstly focus on developing combos for Garo, because that's pretty much the character I know something to nothing about. Starting with probably the best Garo combo extender called Twisted Extender. I came across this channel called Twisted, and I believe he's a decently good player who knows his things. Actually far more superior than me in terms of experience. Well, at first I found it a bit complicated and hard for some reason. My very talented self couldn't do one of the easiest things in the game. Remember when I was blasting materia and when I was boasting about being some sort of adaptive genius? Well, turns out I was about as adaptive as a rock. All I was doing was blindly following tutorials like a sheep in a wool factory with zero logical explanations. I was like, oh yeah, I totally got this! While secretly I was praying for a miracle. After analyzing some clips of me doing it once or twice, I literally figured it out after just one clip analysis. Anyways, Twisted is really easy for me now, and it only took 15 minutes of our time. so it took me additional time to practice and actually learn it. But who needs hours of practice when you got a brain the size of a small planet, guys? Ain't I right, guys? Anyways, with this pace, I wasn't going to be the #1 player. Rather, I think I'll become the worst failure in existence. And to fix that, I quickly needed to learn all of the useful techs of Garo and create a combo of my own. So yeah, I just watched a few videos and now I can do pretty much every tech inside the game for Garo. And this took me in total 2 hours of our time. Now that I got all the knowledge I needed, here is the combo I developed. I'll M1 them and then do the twisted head. And then the header's grasp into another twisted head. This will make them really low health, and then finally lethal whirlwind and flowing water, thus the finishing blow. Combos are good and all, but if you can't land them, there is no point knowing them. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to figure out how to move properly like the best players. Guys, I believe a lot of time has passed since we spoke of Materia. Don't worry, I'm not going to blast him again. Instead, I was planning on taking some movement aspects of his gameplay and implement them into mine. And I did so. Upon analyzing, I realized Materia depends on an unpredictable style of movement, which increases the decision-making time of his opponent and make him more versatile. I tried creating my own unpredictable movement system. Unlike Materia, I'll be consistently making routine switches between shift lock and normal camera movement. I'll be taking advantage of this in the methodical calculations section. Anyways, enough with the basic movement. Next, I'm not about to claim I'm some dash mastermind, but I do have something even better. Common sense. I'll just move around the dummy a bit and improve my dashing through that. Yes, shocking, nothing super genius. Finally, for defensive purposes, we have dodging and blocking. Yeah, just dash out when your enemy is about to attack. But blocking, that's where the real fun begins. Apparently, you're supposed to anticipate your opponent's every move and block with ninja-like reflexes. But let's be real here, folks. My reaction time, unfortunately, I don't have above average reaction time, so I'll just block when I see something coming. Even though my reaction time is complete garbage and I mostly live in the past, this is the only thing I can do. Methodical mind. So we only have a limited amount of time left, and I don't think we can spend any more on practice and experimentation. I know I've been yapping about this since the start, but what does it actually mean? Well, a methodical mind refers to someone who approaches tasks and problems or activities in a systematic and organized manner. Yeah, it's that simple, but yet 99% of the players don't follow along with the simplicity of it. You see, our brain creates habits to reduce mental strain so that our subconscious mind would be able to do them flawlessly without direct conscious effort next time around. But this biological evolutionary aspect actually hinders our adaptability because we wouldn't be able to change and strategize for each new opponent. Wow, who knew studying 10 minutes of biology at school would make me sound like a genius? But here's where it gets wild. I spent a solid 45 minutes, that's almost as long as a Netflix episode, visualizing every move, every jab and every dodge of every character in this game. Now that I feel like killing myself, I think it's a better option to continue. And also, it's time we go to our final segment before the timer ends for the day, which is known as strategy. You see, so many people are nowadays focusing on offense that they forget the key feature that gives them the competitive edge, their defense. In order to manage defense and offense, I'll be implementing two different long-term strategies which I may replace in the future depending on the circumstances. But firstly, for offensive maneuvers, I'll be focusing on it only 40% of the time. And the strategy I created for this is the dash blitz strategy. Okay, genuine question real quick. Do you guys know of that very talented Austrian painter who got rejected of art school and took over almost half of Europe because of it? Yeah, it may sound weird, but the war tactics he used and the strategy I'm using is pretty similar. Firstly, I'll slowly plan and figure out what type of player my enemy is, and then slowly attack them while showcasing terror and fear, which may lower their guard. After that, the real fight begins. When I start attacking him countless times rapidly, a certain feeling will suddenly form inside of him. People hate the feeling of being rushed, and are terrified of making mistakes. This strategy works wonders on those who are particularly hesitant and afraid of making any mistakes. It's like watching a horror movie where the protagonist keeps running up the stairs instead out of the front door. You know it's going to end in tears at the end. And please don't call me a dumbass for implementing and getting inspired of historical war strategies in a Roblox game. Yeah, funny Lego game. Now that I got a strategy for offense, it's time I work on my defense, for which I'll be giving 60% of my focus in Battle for. And remember, power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. I think you guys probably have enough of me giving out totally valuable strategies online so blatantly that everyone can use them. Never give out all of your strategies in a goddamn YouTube video. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. So yeah, I'll keep my other 6 strategies to myself as a countermeasure if one of you tries these tricks on me. About the challenge, these are the improvements I made in the last 18 hours using everything that has been said in the video. Now for the rest of the time, I'll just play and fight alone in public servers for improving slowly but steadily adapting to mistakes. And I'll speak to you when the time's up. Now hopefully by implementing these, you'll be able to grow as a player and improve like no one ever did. You can watch this video directly on your screen to master all of the techs in the game, as it's the only way to do combos in the game.